Get ready, get ready, get ready. As we're entering into Labor Day weekend here in the Metro Detroit area, we have that jazz festival that we're known for on the Labor Day weekend. And I'm telling you, this is just a taste of what goes on. So I am already excited for what's to come, but not as excited as I am about tonight's conversation. Thank you for joining and welcome to Get to Know Bob. I am your host, Dr. Sonia M. Weaver, and this is the amazing time every Wednesday where we get an opportunity to have an awesome conversation with Bob. We have here Bobs that are in regular business, founders of nonprofits, authors, musicians, comedians. I don't think we have not touched every area. I mean, I think we can probably get into the more hands-on industrial areas, maybe. So, we got anybody out there that's in the automotive industry? Got anybody out there that's in the HVAC industry? Hit us up. We want to talk to every single Bob that's out there. Make sure people know who you are, what you do, and why you do what you do. Nobody is, I should say everybody is welcome. How about doing that? How about doing that? Right. So I have to tell you, this past weekend was another phenomenal field weekend. So yeah, I was a little bit tired, but it was a phenomenal field weekend. And it started off with me being a judge. I was a judge for Buff, where they had their week camp for retail readiness. And they were in collaboration with IKEA. And the winners, actually, all three groups put together a marketing campaign for back to school for IKEA. And the winners were amazing. I mean, all the students were amazing. You have to realize this was 1 week. And they really only probably had about 6 to 8 hours actually to get all of the learned information as well as to put together the presentation. And in that short amount of time, they did a phenomenal job. I wanted to show pictures, but they were saying that my pictures were too large to bring on. Boo. But it was a phenomenal time being a judge for that program for those high school students. Then later on that day, I had the privilege of attending the Buff Connect Mixer that I told you guys about. Wanted pictures for them too. Boo, said the pictures were too large. But it was a phenomenal time there. We got to really showcase about what Buff Connect is and the organization BUF of Michigan and all of the phenomenal programs that it does for youth empowerment. So make sure you're on the lookout for the upcoming events, especially the gala. Make sure you put that on your calendar to attend. That is one of the largest fundraisers that Buff of Michigan has. Again, to have phenomenal programs to offer the youth, from aviation to introduction to pre-medical in conjunction with Wayne State School of Medicine. I talked about the Ford Motor Company Philanthropy Camp and now the retail readiness. They're going to have so much more to come, and it is with your support that they can do so. After going to that, the next day, I had an opportunity. No, that same night. Well, I'm telling you, I was busy. That same night, I had the opportunity to go to the Ted Ellis art exhibit in Inkster at Operation Refuge. This was a phenomenal evening. It was a very beautiful, elegant evening. Got to meet Mr. Ted Ellis himself and talk with him about his inspiration and the work that he does. Those pieces were phenomenal. I have video that I've taken of much of the pieces. So be on the lookout as I upload that information to social media. It was definitely an experience. And I would recommend you adding that art to your art collection. It's very inspiring. That's all I'm going to say. And Ted Ellis is just a wonderful person. I then had the pleasure on the next morning attending the Mother's Healing and Forgiveness brunch. This brunch did not disappoint. It addressed so many topics that we don't readily talk about. especially torn relationships between mothers and daughters. But it was definitely an opportunity to have healing. And that's what was important, to have healing. And the conversation did revolve around that and left guests feeling inspired about healing coming. So, yes, be on the lookout for more events for Trueness of the Words. If you have an opportunity, we did have Miss Eleanor Fleming as a guest a couple months ago. You may want to visit that conversation. But I'm going to let you know there is definitely more events to come from Trueness of the Word. Last but not least, I popped into the Braid Gallery and went to their back to school backpack giveaway. And I'm telling you, every single backpack was passed out. OMG, the community kept going. And when the DJ had to announce as people were pulling up, sorry, there's no more left, you just feel like, wow. We think that we have so many backpack giveaways all over, but there's truly a need. Whenever you have to start turning people away because you ran out and you started out with hundreds to begin with, it lets you know that we still have a lot of work to do. And we have phenomenal people in our community that are willing to step up and do just that, do the work that is needed. So I was just excited to have been able to stop by and see the phenomenal work that Yolanda Wynn and the Braid Gallery are doing for the community. Now get excited because we are about to get into our conversation for this evening. But I do want to remind you, if you did not see last week, we had a conversation with Mr. Jason Integrity. We were talking about mastering the art of persuasion, the secret to closing the deal. What we found out that really there is no art of persuasion. It is just a simple conversation. And when you are being your authentic you, that conversation just flows naturally. So before we get right into our conversation, we're going to take a moment to recognize our core members' upcoming events. And when we come back, we'll get right into our conversation. We'll be right back.
Compression session hosted by Sonia M. Weaver and Jason Integrity. Celebrate the wins, let go of the stress, vent, share, and encourage. Register today on Facebook or Alignable by searching for the BE Black Entrepreneurs Group.
Victory International Ministries Back to School Rally, Friday, August 30th from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. at 2231 Indiandale, Detroit, Michigan. Free backpacks and school supplies. Refreshments will be served.
We are the goal. Another legendary BOSS endorsed event. Roots Vibrations live Monday, September 2nd at 3 p.m. Come out to Arts, Beats, and Eats and listen live to the performance on the Jim Beam National Stage.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to YouTube, search for Deals with Bob, and click the subscribe button.
Hi, we're back. Now let's get ready for our conversation tonight, where we're going to be talking about community champions, growing hope and crafting a better future as we bring on the phenomenal Mr. Ishmael Terry. Well, good evening. How are you?
Good evening. I don't know about phenomenal. I just think just great one. Just great one. Just great.
Well, the great one, Mr. Ishmael Terry. As always, I am really excited to have this conversation with you. Before we dive into it, I just want to remind everyone that if you missed our first conversation, Ishmael came on to Get to Know Bob on Wednesday, August 30th. Can you believe it? It is almost a year exactly.
No.
From the last time.
How did you convince me to do it the second time around? I usually do one interview. I give people one interview and then I go about my business. You're like, no, I don't do no repeats. Even Charlie Langton and them, that Rip and all of them can't even get a repeat out of me.
That's because I don't do repeats. Every conversation is a brand new organic conversation.
I know how you pull this one off. I was like, she was like, can I do an interview with you? I was like, what? Okay. I don't know how she pulled it. Whatever.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And then we're going
Yeah.
to also say thank you to Dr. Vatanji, who is on. Thank you for joining, Dr. Vatanji. We look forward to your comments throughout the segment. And to Mr. Michael Dorsey, thank you for joining as well. Make sure you share with others.
Yeah, I know Michael for a long time as well.
Okay,
I
awesome.
mean, I remember when Michael was skinny.
Okay, see that we're not gonna go into it.
You remember when I was skinny? I mean, I'm just gonna be real with. I've been knowing Michael Dorsey for a long time. I remember when he came up with I forgot the young lady's name, and I think I was in Lansing at the time. I think I was. I would think I was in Michigan House of Representative at the time that I met Michael and the young lady, and they were telling me what they're going to do, and I thought that was really cool, what they were doing. But sometimes organizations kind of flee after a
Yeah.
while. I was happy, and I know your boy Kenneth Donaldson, so I know y'all. I'm happy for y'all and Buff. I just saw him at the Lions game, and he
Did
was like,
you?
"Yeah." So he was like, "Ishmael, you know we got to do something together. I know
Look,
you big now. You ain't got time for us people anymore. Since you running around with Myers and Walmart and all of them people, you don't got time for us. You go to Chicago and New York to pick up schools." So I was just like, "Ken, I got time for you, man." I was part of Buff. 2005 all the way up until 2007. And
okay.
so that's when they were on the boulevard.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha. So,
that's how old I am in this game. Yeah.
well, we
I'm
would
about to retire.
definitely love to have you back and
I'm
collaborate.
throwing in the towel. I'm throwing in the towel. I'm retired.
You're not retiring. Together, we're stronger. So,
Mhm.
but before we get too far into it, for
Okay.
those who might be watching, and believe it or not, they may not know Mr. Ishmael Terry, I want to pass the baton to you because I want you to self introduce and let people know who you are, what you do, and then why you do what you do.
All right. All right. I'm Ishmael Terry. The jokes aside, I'm Ishmael Terry. If you don't know me, I don't know what rock you under. But I am the CEO of All for One. I tell jokes all the time, but I am the CEO of All for One, a nonprofit 501c3 charitable organization for the last 25 years. I'm also the founder. I started in 96. Yeah, I think 95, 96. And then we became a nonprofit. And then by 2007, we became a 501c3. And then we've been ever since. And so we have at least 10 schools under our belt in our All for One Adopt a School network. Um, and we have 11 in total, one school in Chicago, the Walter Payton Academy. So we are moving on to New York and also it's Los Angeles as well. So we provide resources through the school. We work with partners like Dr. Sonia Weaver, and we actually connect them to schools that we see they fit well with. A lot of organizations come up to us and say, "Hey, we want to be a part of All for One's programming, right, or our organization," and we'll be like, "Well, that don't fit what we talking about to those schools." So sometimes I don't connect them to the schools. I'll connect them to other organizations. I'm partners with Walmart, Myers, Macy's now. Yeah, we got Macy's.
Oh,
Yeah. We moving. We bigger than the house. Um, we have um, the state. We are now with SAM.gov. So now we provide services, secondary educational services to the federal government. So we're now partners with the U.S. Department of Education as well as the U.S. Department of Justice. So we're
how
going to be, yeah, so we do a lot of good things. All right, I'm cutting that off because we can be here all day.
well, one thing that I would like to know, I mean, you said 25 years. Um,
Yes.
so here's a great question, at least that I believe. What
Okay.
started you or motivated you to start then? And
Hmm.
therefore, what continues to motivate you 25 years
Oh.
continuing?
Oh, that's a great question to ask. Um, what motivated me was I got tired of people talking about they gonna lay me off. or they gonna fire me.
Okay.
My talent is more than your money, and I felt like the only way that I can prove that is to do it on my own, right? And I felt like people sometimes they get scared when they got to face it on their own. It's real easy to talk about it, but it's even easier to do it. And you just have to trust yourself that what you're doing, not just make a difference, but it's going to benefit everyone around you in the long run. You start meeting new individuals like yourselves and other individuals who on the come up. I can just remember one job. I ain't gonna go their name, but they don't need to even know their name on my mom. They were threatening me, and this is in Ann Arbor. And I was like, bro, I'm not about to be doing this job that long anyway. And I'm in the executive part. I'm in management. And I was just like, I'm not the typical Negro that's in this room. I'm going to be larger than what you think, right? So I just decided I put my business plan together, a master plan of what I want to do. What women call a vision board, you know.
Yeah.
I wrote it on paper and said, by these years, this is what I'm going to accomplish. And then the politicking thing came in the middle of that. So they both played hand in hand. And yeah, I was just determined to be me. And I didn't need nobody to handcuff what I can do, right? I knew I could talk a lot. I knew I was charismatic, handsome. I knew all of those things would get me to where I need to get to. I just had to figure it out. And so when I created All for One, it was just a basketball camp.
Okay.
And then it went to a basketball camp to a mentoring program. Then it got recognized in the paper in 2004. And then it took off from there and got Kwame Kilpatrick and all of them and Charlie Beckham's of the world, all of them from downtown, and all of them was like, come on, bring it here. And I was like, no, because y'all don't pay your bills on time. And they was like, we're going to take care of you. And I was just like, okay. And that's how we got involved with Metro Youth Day when they were doing it here in Detroit. And we became a partner with Metro Youth Day at Belle Isle. And so we just kept growing and growing and growing. We were at the O'Shea Recreation Facility. And then, you know, they were closing recreation centers down. And that actually leapfrogged me into the political world because I started a march against closing recreation centers down. And there I was.
Oh, wow. And look how this progressed. I mean, and you're talking about way back then. I mean, because I will say, especially post-COVID, independent, walking in your purpose, you know, following your passion, you hear it a lot more today than I'm sure 25 years plus ago.
Yeah.
So what was that like? I mean, were you getting even the support from people around you to do something like that?
No, I mean, I was getting it, but I hadn't struck a deal, and people gonna be finding this crazy, but I struck a deal with Little Caesars. And so this is when they was in Auburn Hills. And this is when they were in their little spots going to the suburban areas of Novi. And we were doing pizza kits out my trunk of my car, selling cookie doughs, doing little individual pizzas to little fundraisers. But I never gave up on who I was.
Right there.
So because I never gave up on who I was, you got to understand I'm a cancer survivor, right? Let's call it spade what it is. So I beat Hodgkin's disease, right? Cancer and lymphoma, blood cancer. Now I could have folded after the treatments, after the radiation, the year-long treatments and all of that. But that's just not my stilo. That's not who I am as a person. So I sucked up all the tears. I sucked up all the woe is me's. And then I looked at two babies that I had, a set of twins, boy and girl. And I said, that's another piece of the puzzle that I got to keep doing what I'm doing. And then, like I said again, it's easy to get scared to what you want to achieve. Let me tell that to your listening audience. It's easy to be scared to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
But only scared people don't achieve because they worry about what other people going to say, what other people going to do, who going to step in your way, who going to steal your product, because we've seen that too, right? They steal your ideas. All of that comes into play. But that should motivate you even more. I had somebody offer me millions of dollars to buy All for One. And I said, man, if it's worth this, then it's got to be more than this after I do X amount of years. So I wasn't afraid. I was just like, okay, this is us. This is All for One. And then here I am.
I love it. I love it. Now, before I go into the next question, I am going to take a moment to pause and acknowledge our core businesses and their upcoming events. So, Ishmael, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Second Annual Azal Benny Lockett Foundation Prayer Breakfast, Saturday, September 7th, 2024, beginning at 10 a.m. at Wayne County Community College District Northwest Campus, 8200 West Outer Drive, Detroit, Michigan. Tickets are $75 and $100 for VIP.
Party for a Purpose Part 2. We are thrilled to invite you to an electrifying evening of unity, purpose, and progress. Sunday, September 8th, beginning at 5 p.m. at 2463 Riapelli, Eastern Market. This is more than just a gathering, it's a powerful endorsement event for Michigan Supreme Court Justice Kyra Harris Bolden and a celebration of leadership across Michigan. Must RSVP at www.myblackleder.com.
Friday, September 13th at the Emerald Theater is the first annual Reggae Rising, presented by Leaving Lifted. We are featuring so many great Detroit reggae artists, including Roots Vibrations, King Mellowman, Dan Tillery, Lakeisha Tuggle, Winfred Julian, Nikki Giovanni, Ryan Gimpert, and more. Doors open at 7 p.m. Tickets are $15. It's an all-star event of all reggae, all night.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to YouTube, search for Deals with Bob, and click the subscribe.
Okay, so we're back. Now, Ishmael, you know everybody.
Like I said, if you don't know me, you under a rock. You know,
but here's the thing. Even with knowing everybody, I'm sure that there's a lot that could possibly people don't know. So I want to give you this opportunity for you from yourself to share what people should know about you and then the work that you currently do and that you desire to do.
Okay. That's a great question. Good little interviewer. Good job. All right. So what you don't know about me, I'm married to an amazing woman named Bridget Terry. That's one. I'll keep that kind of under wraps. A lot of people think they know, but they don't know. So I have an amazing wife who keeps this old geezer controlled.
Yeah, you kind of do need one of those as you mature, according to my father.
Yeah, like, all right, get your woman, man. That's gonna be solid now. You know, won't be out there at 40, 50, 60 years old, still trying to figure it out. You know, I got that. I got that under control. She keeps me. I'm very blessed. Y'all just don't know what kind of legislator I'm going to be in the future because of her. What else? Let's see. So that's one thing that people don't know about me. Secondly, what you don't know is, let's see. Let's be as candid as we can be on your show. I am also a gentleman who had multiple seizures of working overtime.
Okay.
I had worked so hard, sometimes I forget to eat. And sometimes I forget to nutrient myself. So people calls me and say, hey, have you eaten yet? Have you drank anything? because I work so hard to try to give everybody so many things that I sometimes forget about myself. So I'm working on myself to not forget about myself while I'm helping others achieve their goals. So that's one thing that people don't know that much about me, because I'll work myself so tirelessly. While you sleeping, I'm still thinking. While you sleeping, I'm still working. I'm in front of the computer now, still working, right? I'm still trying to figure out how to put Miss Weaver into a better school than probably that school, right?
Oh, thank you.
Her secondary schooling. No, serious. So I'm up at 3 in the morning. A lot of people don't know that. I'm up at 3 in the morning, thinking about 15 things to do. And so I will run myself ragged to make sure.
So with
that people-
the exception of your amazing wife,
Yes.
what are you working on to start implementing some boundaries so that we can have you around much longer doing this amazing work? Because see, here's the thing. I'm glad you were transparent, because this is conversations that I have routinely with women, where we're
Right.
just going and going and doing and here, there, and everywhere.
Right.
So, but we support one another and start saying, okay, here's how you implement boundaries. Here's what you need to do in order to start putting you first and doing what's necessary to make sure you're maintaining a healthy mind, body, and spirit. So
Right.
tell me, what are you doing to begin that process?
I don't know. I talk more to my wife. I start my day off with her.
Well, that's good.
I actually pick with her. You know, like that little kid, that little brother, that brother that be picking with his sibling. I do that. Start my day off right, calm myself down. I pick with her. Eat my oatmeal and eat my oat bread and all that. Getting old sucks. If people tell you that getting old is a better time, I'm gonna slap them.
Yeah.
But
well, my grandmother was very transparent about getting older, so I understand.
Yeah, but I do meditate.
Okay.
I do meditate. I work out. So I put myself first by doing that. And then I'll come in my office, I'll shut all the lights off. And then I'll imagine that I don't talk to nobody, you or nobody else. And I'm just sitting and I'm just like, okay, this is my day. This is what we got to do. If you don't accomplish all 5 things, don't be mad at yourself. Don't beat yourself up because you didn't accomplish. Say if you only did 2 things or 3 things. Be satisfied that I'm able to do those 3 things and get them out of the way. Yeah. And then I will write something down, because now I'm older, so my memory sometimes get a little sketchy. So I'll write it down like, oh, this is what I got to do for a Weaver, or this is what I got to do for somebody, or this is what I got to do for somebody. So the next day I already have kind of my plan out. So that's kind of way how I handle it now. Instead of just running racking into the wall. And then knowing that, my doctor has already, Dave Barr said that, Ishmael, as great as you are, you can't help people if you're sick.
Exactly.
If you're down. So we need you, like you just said, we need you around because you're that guy. So that's what I do. That's what I do now.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, because definitely some of the things that you mentioned are some of the things exactly that I work with my clients on, to get them in a place in order for them to be able to have those boundaries and do self-management in order to, one, feel better. But once you kind of start doing that, you actually are more productive, believe it or not, than just to constantly keep going and keep going. So I'm glad to hear that.
And I still got my cigars, and I got my cigars, and I got my whiskey and bourbon. So I'm good. I
love it.
That's my thing.
There's a couple of images that are in the slide deck because of some of the most recent activities that has happened within the last couple months. Please tell me, what was this about and how did it come to be? The first one that we're showing here is part of your Adopt a School network. So I want to understand, for those who may not know, tell us a little bit more about the whole Adopt a School network. And then what was this about, this whole Lions game?
So I've been bugging the Lions for a while because they keep raising them ticket prices. So I can't get, people can't afford the tickets.
That's
right?
True.
Especially my students in my schools. They parents can't, they got to pick between cable, lights, gas, water, taxes. Now you're talking about tickets to the Lions game, right? So instead of charging people for tickets, what we did is we did a deal with the Lions, and they're part of our Adopt a School network. So, which like the Tigers and the Pistons are, and the Pistons just sent, and you just called just a good time because they sent us their application stuff for us to get Pistons tickets this year. So we are partners with all major sporting events here in the city, and we get tickets from 25 to 50 tickets, and we take any and everyone that's a part of our Adopt a School network. So that's all businesses, organizations, schools, everyone get a chance to go to a game. We do have a 3-strike rule because people will take the tickets and not go to the game.
Mm-hmm.
So the Lions and all of them will be like, well, Mr. Terry, we can't keep giving you the tickets if nobody going to the game. Right. So we now have a 3-strike rule. So if you miss the first one, that's a strike. The second one is a warning. Third time is you're not getting no more tickets to the game.
Fair. That's really generous, actually.
Yeah, because sometimes most people will cut you off after the first time you messed up, not going to the game.
Exactly.
But I'm a real generous guy. I'm stick with you for a while. I believe that people have problems. My car broke down.
Well, life happens, definitely. But you're talking about like 3 times this is happening.
Yeah, that's it.
That does become a little excessive at that point.
Right, but then you're going to see me in certain events, or you'll see me somewhere walking around, and you're going to be like, well, Ishmael, I didn't get those tickets, and I hate to tell you, you ain't never been. And then they'd be like, well, why you act so mean? Why you act like this? Why you do? Man, we gave you tickets 3 times. Those tickets could have went to somebody else who would have probably gone. And you taking that away from this school. So we first pick our schools first. So that's how this works. We pick our schools first in our network, and then we make sure the tickets go to them. And then from there, then we get to the community leaders, block club leaders, things of that nature who support us for like our holiday harvest toy drive, which is coming in November. Our jamboree, which is coming in September. What else is going on? That's toy drive, the jamboree. Somebody is
ahead of me.
Right. So we got all of those things. I'm looking at my board now. Yeah. So I think I covered it. Jamboree, the holiday harvest toy drive. The thing in September is the jamboree. The jamboree in September is basically our donor, our sponsor, which is, he gonna kill me, Amadori Beverage Inc. He is our sponsor. He's in 120 stores so far, where he has alkaline water. His name Roland Troutman, and he's the CEO of the place. He's a Black-owned business though too, so he does that Eastern market as well on Saturday. So he's our official sponsor. Go to Amadori Beverage Inc. and you'll find him. So what we do with that jamboree is that's part of all of our All for One umbrella. The jamboree allows us to give. Everybody does their backpack thing in August, right? Mm-hmm. I don't do it in August. Everybody be filled on August to do this, right? The school, what we do with our schools is we basically get a listing of what other things the school is missing,
Okay.
and we fill the backpack up with that.
Gotcha.
Because everybody is saturated on giving in August. The school ain't even ready yet to tell you all exactly what they're missing. And then you the parent, you the sucker, you go up there and be like, oh, but didn't they do a backpack giveaway? Didn't they give all this stuff out to the school? And then they be like, well, that's not on the list. We need tissues. We need more notepads. We need more pencils. We need more erasers. We need more calculators, right?
Yeah,
So then
always gonna be a need. But you do want to have it early because kids do want to look good on that first day going back. You remember that first day going back? Them new clothes.
I didn't worry about my shoes. I worry about my shoes and clothes. That's what I worry about when I first hit back to school. I was like, what my kids?
I wanted my new folders, my new notebooks, all of that.
Yeah, you're a nerd. You're a nerd. You're a nerd. Yes, you're a nerd. Because
I love when I get new journals so I can start right. It's you know it.
You're a nerd. You're a nerd. Yeah, you're a nerd. Because I'm not doing that. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about what my clothes gonna smell like, what my shoes gonna look like when I'm walking into school. That's what I'm worried about. With y'all be we gonna all do backpacks. Every church is doing a backpack. Every school, every organization is doing something on August. And I'm like, okay, there's more days in the months. There's more months to do. So, okay, you guys go over there in August in y'all little group and y'all go and give clothes and shoes away, right? So we decided, but all jokes aside, I'm happy for all organizations that do come together and do those things, right? I am happy about that. But I'm just not a part of the pack, right? I've always been kind of over there. And then I'll just evaluate how you guys are all doing it. And then I'll be like, oh, okay, so we'll do it this way. And then all y'all doing it this way. I'm not going to do it at no park. No. I'm not going to do it at the police station. No. I'm going to go right to the source itself. So when we adopted the school, it didn't make any sense to host this big old thing where you get barbers and beauty salons to blow out your little girl's hair. Then her hair fall out, then you mad because they used the wrong kind of curly heat or whatever. The little boy got a bad haircut. He mad because the cut his hair wrong. Right? He wanted the new high top fade that they got now. That's kind of old school, right? And they cut it wrong. I know the whole session. See, I just broke down the whole thing on how y'all do these backpack giveaways. So we just give the backpacks with everything that's in it. That because we asked the principals and the administration, we've already had meetings with them. So we already know exactly what they're going to need in September and November. So, yeah. So that's how All for One sticks around so long, because we just be ahead of the curve. Like, okay, y'all go over there and do that real quick. We'll watch y'all from afar, and we'll figure it out.
Oh, well, that's amazing. When we do come back, Ishmael, we're going to take another quick break for some more events coming up. But we're going to continue, about what's on the deck that you have going on, and just get a little deeper dive into what All for One is doing for the community. So we'll be right back.
Women's Empowerment Workshop, The Prolific Me uploaded. Hosted by Michelle Hood. Friday, September 27th through Sunday, September 29th. Friday 6 p.m. meet and greet. Saturday workshops begin at 9 a.m. Sunday, closing remarks. Events will be held at Hilton Garden Inn, 26,000 American Drive, Southfield, Michigan. Tickets are $85. Rediscover your natural talents and embrace who you really are.
Autism Community Day. Presented by Takers The Gaming Vault and Hezekiah Kids. Saturday, September 28th from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. at Laurel Park Mall, 37700 6 Mile Road, Livonia, Michigan. Special guest America's Got Talent and Stellar Award winner Kid J. For more information, contact Ice Clark 313-425-6473 or Dr. V. Bailey 248-671-3177.
Cast party hosted by Mac Justice Entertainment. October 11th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the International Institute, 111 East Kirby, Detroit, Michigan. Special guest DJ Mr. Millennium. Entry is $20. Free food, DJ, music, and stage play viewing. This is a boss-approved event.
Women Ignited Annual Summit. The Perfect Plan. Saturday, October 12, 2024. Breakout sessions, financial wisdom, relationships, personal empowerment, lunch and networking. Cost $67. Early bird cost $49. Visit www.womenignitedsummit.com.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to YouTube, search for Deals with Bob, and click the subscribe button.
Okay, so we're back.
Mhm.
Now this caught my eye in the slide deck.
Yes,
You're
yeah.
talking about having these adopt a school programs.
Mhm.
So from looking on the outside in, it looks like, if I were to describe it, that Offer One has a collaboration with schools, and the purpose of that collaboration is to meet the school's needs as to offer programs and or resources and needs for the children of those schools. Would that be accurate?
That's somewhat. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a great one.
I just want to make sure I'm understanding the whole
Yeah,
program.
when we do this is how we do this. This is how we do this. I can't go in full detail because I don't know. Some people will try to copy and then they can't do it right and they mess up what we got going on. I can only be brutally honest, right? So basically, we have meetings with the school districts and we have meetings with the principals and their administration. Plus, we also have separate meetings with the students.
Mm-hmm.
And then we find out what is actually needed in that school.
Okay.
Right. And then from there, we activate. We start talking to our sponsors. We start talking to our financial institutions, all of them, Gilbert Foundation, all of them, about the importance of the bringing change to the school. Right. Mm-hmm. So we find out later down the road that a lot of these organizations, financial institutions and others, sometimes they stretch themselves thin. So they change the way their mission goes with their foundation, with their banks, because they have the CRA, and anybody can hear this. It's open. So that is the Community Reinvestment Act. So with that funding, that goes to community development projects such as financial literacy projects and things of that nature, right? As long as you're talking financial literacy, financial institutions will give you CRA funding. As long as you're 501c3, things of that nature, right? But even with that, they're starting to curtail to what community things looks like, right? So if it's like PNC, they're going to do things more in the suburban rural area. Every once in a while, they'll escape and jump over the line and go to the inner city and do something, right? Fix a house, cut some grass, right?
Gotcha. Uh-huh.
But it ain't going to be a heavy lifting, right? So we kind of, the unions and all of them, we kind of twist their arms and say, this is how you're going to actually help a school, right? This is what's going to motivate those students to move forward. So like if you see in the back
of this innovative lab, this was then bringing resources to this particular school then for what you just was saying.
Correct. So we're bringing computers to that school. So like in the back of my office here, you see behind me, it say Comerica Bank. We put 100 new Google Chrome books over at Glazer, right over there by Focus Hope, and I'm in Davison, because their need was to put an innovative lab together and bring computers. So thanks to Comerica Bank, we teamed up together and we brought 100 Google Chrome. You should have seen the look on their face when they saw all these computers, brand new, not no used and cleaned out and all of that like some places do. These were brand new. So this
Wow.
is what we're aiming our goal for in October, to get at least about 100 Google Chromebooks. So we are in communications with Dell, Microsoft, and things of that nature. Microsoft will tell you that they don't give computers, which they don't. They do software.
Mm.
But we working it out with Dell and Huntington Bank, Ford, and some others to try to make sure we get those kids 100 new Google Chromebooks for the school year.
I love it. Now,
Oh,
tell me about the national nonprofit. What's his bike giveaway or challenge?
yeah.
Or
So before the school is out by the summer, we wanted the kids to to remember school was fun when you leave it. Right? You know how we used to do: throw the paper in the air, throw trash everywhere. Yeah, I'm free. I'm free. And get nothing out of it but freedom. No, you know. So this time we were like, well, let's give our students in our adopted school, our elementary schools, bikes. So we chose Jane Addams in South Redford. That's where that picture is from. So we have a school. We have a school in Redford, Charter Township, and we gave Dixon Educational Learning Academy, DPSCD school, and we split. I think we had like 100 and something bikes, and we split it between both schools.
that's
So
awesome.
when we came to the school, you should have seen the look on on teachers and administration. They like, yeah, where these bikes come from? And we like, yeah, these came from Walmart, Myers, other organizations. Like, these are brand new bikes.
Now that's
So
awesome. And
yeah,
I'm
well,
sure the kids were just like, oh
oh
my
yeah,
God, like Christmas in July.
man, come on, man. They were like, who was thinking about us like this? We like, yeah, you. This is your bike. You got to tell the teacher you want this bike. And so we did a big campaign for it. It was really nice. We had the students talk about, we want a bike. Yay. Conversation. And it was good. It was really nice. It was really fun. It was really touching to see a parent holding the bike for their son or daughter, and they know that this is their bike, right?
Yeah.
We tried it in the neighborhood, though. We did. I will say that. We did try it in the neighborhood, in the Brightmoor community, and that wasn't that good. But you live and learn. You know,
Yeah.
Some people were being greedy, right? They drive in nice cars, but they want a brand new bike. And we like, wait, hold on, man. You see what you driving? Why you can't buy your kid a bike? And they like, well, that's not the point. We saw you on Fox 2 talking about these new bikes, and we want a bike. And I'm like, okay, we're not doing this anymore.
So
We're
you
going to not
live
do
and
it.
you learn. Live and
Yeah,
learn.
only do it in the schools. We can control that. But I did understand people's plight, a want, right? I think
Right.
people are. I think people are getting greedy, entitled, thinking this is what they're supposed to receive. When people like yourself and myself and others are doing things to help, I think that people be like, "Well, you say you gonna help me, so I want this." Well, you
Yeah.
ain't get. You won't be. I be mean. I don't care. I'm old now. I'm uncle, so
So
I'm like,
you could be be
yeah, I'm
exactly
old
how
now.
it's supposed to be.
That's it. There you go. There you have it for you, right? But so, um, yeah, but I know the need is great, but we have to have a controlling environment, or it will become chaotic. So that's why we do a lot of our work only in our schools. We do work in the community with
Well,
certain other
here's an
things.
example of this picture coming up, I believe, from that you posted. Wasn't this some work?
Oh yeah. So let me tell you how this worked out. So we have a development team called Pleasant Heights Economic Development Corporation, right? It's under the umbrella of All for One. So basically, the neighbors in the South Redford area was complaining about flooding over there in that space,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I'm like, well, you must don't know who I am because I can get that fixed for you. And they were like, who are you? And I was like, I'm Ishmael Terry. Of course, I'm about to be your state rep very soon. So let's work it out. Let's fix some things around here to make you understand that Mr. Terry is just not about schools and community this and passing out this and doing that and offering programs. We also develop things. We also build things. We also repurpose and redevelop other things that needs to be fixed. So I got with Warren Evans. Thank God to Warren Evans. Thank him to the Wayne County exec. Andy Carndevis, the Director of Public Service for Wayne County. Assad Turtle and them, who's the CEO under Warren Evans, Deputy Wayne County. And we fixed that issue. So they had 2 water drainage that had big holes. I mean, as big as me.
Oh,
and I was like, man, wow, if a baby walked by or a dog walked by or a cat walked by, it's going in a hole. So those people in that community had been calling for X amount of years and felt like they hadn't been getting heard. So I just made a couple of calls. I had a good conversation. Let's just say that. I had a good conversation. And then, they were fixed.
That's awesome. That's
people
awesome.
In the neighborhood reference was like, oh my God, we got him. We got one. Yeah, here's our state rep. So I was just awesome. I was like, well, our state rep, our seat doesn't start until either 27 or 31. So let's get familiarized with one another. Since now they redistrict me into that community, let's get familiarized with one another, and then let's fix problems. Let's not do any kind of conversation.
I love that don't wait until the election and get elected. Do what's necessary because it needs to be done.
Guaranteed. And then I tell people all the time, and I'll be truthful, I don't need your vote. If you don't vote for me, oh well, that's just how I did. You want to keep voting for the same people to keep doing the same thing to you, oh well, but then don't see me and be talking about, well, Mr. Terry, can you fix this problem? No, because you voted for that person. So that means you got to call that person to hopefully one day come by and fix the problem.
Yeah.
So good luck. And then I just about my day. And then that's about it. But doing that job, doing the development job, that's a tedious job because we were over in the Dexter, Linwood area. We still are. And we redeveloped 2 city parks already over there. One by the New Bethel Church, over by Aretha Franklin, C.L. Franklin Church. So up the street is Yates Park. We redeveloped that in 2015. And then we came up the street in Chicago, leading from Linwood to Dexter, right by Sacred Heart Seminary and we redeveloped Kyton Park. So we've torn down, with the help of the city, let's say that, we've torn down more than 40% of commercial and residential property at that time, right? When the city was doing the artwork thing. You remember that when they were running around the city talking about the arts? They're going to paint on buildings and all that murals. We the first organization that they did that. And they did that over at Mr. Whitlow's barbershop. They did that's why you see on my Facebook thing with me standing behind the mural. That's actually the first mural that they did in Detroit. And they did it over at Pleasant Heights. So that was nice. What else? Damn, Ishmael, you had done a lot. It's time to retire, brother.
Well, we do have one thing that we're going to be bringing up during the tea time when we come right back, because we are at the 8:00 hour. So
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. We're just going to have you back. So we're going to take one last break, and then we're going to come back, and we got one more thing that we're going to talk about in the future, and then a couple of inspiration things we want you to share. So we'll be right back.
Cool.
Save the date. Sneaker Ball, celebrating 19 years of service. UNITY's anniversary event will take place September 7th, 2024. This event will bring together supporters, volunteers, and youth who have been a part of the organization to celebrate the yearly service that has been provided for children and communities year after year. Looking for sponsor and donations, visit contact us at unitydetroit.org. Save the date. Western Wayne County NAACP 2024 Freedom Fund Dinner. October 20th, 2024. Our purpose, our power, our people. Save the date. BUF of Michigan 54th Gala Celebration. Friday, October 25th, beginning at 6 p.m. at the Motor City Soundboard, 2901 Grand River Avenue, Detroit, Michigan.
Let us support you in your event by adding it to our Stay Connected segments and encouraging community support. Visit www.dealswithbob.com or call us today.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to YouTube, search for Deals with Bob, and click the subscribe button.
Hey, so we're back.
Yes.
Now, as we go into this quick tea time and in this last segment, there was something that we found on your page that you have coming up. When you were talking about development, this looks like you're in process or possibly are under the way with developing a soccer field.
So with the help of my
you gotta spill the tea.
So with the help of my teammates, Darren Flowers, who's the president of the company, and others, Riddick Grant and Noel Moskowitz, who is our CFO, and Chanel Cholak, who is the director of our inclusion and diversity, as well as Erlene Weston. We decided that we were going to go another direction in doing community project and building another project, right? We did the parks, we did all of those things. So we decided then that more Black kids need to know more about soccer or football in other countries than they need to know about baseball, basketball, and football as the only means of sports. If that's all you know that gets you out of the city is sports, let's put us in something else too. So that's where we came in with soccer. So I can only give you one partner since we doing the teeth thing, right? So we partnered with the U.S. Soccer Foundation and Major League Soccer. And we're building a new soccer field in between Linwood and Dexter. Right next to the right at Kyton Park area. So there's a lot of funders that are involved. Okay. Sri Tanadar, U.S. House member, is part of it. City Council President Mary Sheffield is involved in it. Wayne County Commissioner Irma Clark Coleman is involved in it. A host of other schools, organizations that deal with soccer, they're all involved as well in this. And this project doesn't take place until 2026. So I'm truly excited about the opportunity of building the first soccer field. I know we having a soccer field built, a big one over there in Corktown. Yes, I'm aware of that, but that's more of adult driven, right? This will be strictly youth driven. So elementary schools, middle schools, high schools will actually be a part of that. We're also in communications with FIBA. That's going to be huge because we're already partners with the Japanese consulate as well as the Mexican consulate, all for one end. Okay. So we're building out our international. While other people are talking about logo, all for one is going international.
I love it.
And we're having a partnership with the Mexican consulate and having a partnership with the Japanese consulate, it would allow us to be able to do just that. So there is some support that's financially supported towards this project. And then once we build it, I'm going to take a week. So I'm spilling the tea. So I'm going to take about a week to a month off. I'm not doing any building, nothing. I'm not giving nobody no interviews. I'm not doing that. I'm just going to, I'm going to chill out. I'm going to barbecue. and then I'm just gonna have it.
Well
Yeah,
deserved.
that is our major project. It's not our major project, but it's one of the top projects that we're focused on. Think of how huge that is to have um, a soccer field placed in that environment, in that
Yeah.
area, right?
Yes.
We've already built 2 city parks. So imagine now you have that there. I think that the more we build over there, one that brings the city involvement, right? And brings the
Yeah.
state involvement. Everybody gets involved because they don't want to be outshined by Mr. Terry. They want to get the shine too. So they don't be all like, "Hey, I need to do something over here too, because this is mine." And you be like, "Okay." But
Well,
that's
if
the
you
whole
gotta be the igniter, then go ahead.
that's the whole thing, though. A lot of people don't understand that there's a master plan behind this, right? I figured you so busy trying to one up me that you not understanding the goal. The goal is to make this environment over here change,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not about me. Seriously. It's not about me. It's about the idea that it was a kid who grew up over here who has a desire to see this place change,
Right.
right? And so, because I have the federal, the state, and the local influences, I'm like, well, I'm gonna use that. And then I know that these other individuals, I'm not saying no names because we don't want to cause no controversy, even though we spill in the tea. Um, they're not looking at it as we can work together to fix the problem. They're looking at it as competition.
Mm.
So they like, well, shoot, I'm old Dexter. I'm the city council member, or I'm the Wayne County Commissioner. I can do this too now. And then I'll be like this, like, you a sucker. You falling for nothing, because I want you to feel that way. Because I want you to feel the same way I feel. I know you ain't probably came from over there, or you probably have and you just forgot all about the place. But I just will never forget about where I came from over there on Dexter and Linwood and in that area. I
Definitely
born and
appreciate
raised,
that.
right? So
Definitely appreciate
heck
it.
yeah, I play them like this. I just be like, yeah, we're doing this. And then they'd be like, no, we're going to do this. And then they'll move fancy. So that's why you see the recreation center getting moved done quickly, right? Right. You see the Myth Moore Recreation Center is starting to get picked up, right? That's getting fixed. Everything has a master plan on why it should get done. Having organizations such as yourselves come into those schooling areas, like we have Central and we have Northwestern under our network, right? So we know that there ain't gonna be no football players, basketball players, and all of that, but they need to have some technical support to be able to be plumbers and electricians and things as well.
Yeah.
That's what I'm focused on. I'm not really focused on being on the top of the hill anymore. I'm kind of focusing on who makes sense to put where, right? Because when I become state representative down the road, that seat will no longer be a door that's closed.
I love that.
Every time we get elected for these seats, we forget that it took a Weaver, a Flowers, a Bailey. It took all these people over the years to trust us.
Mm-hmm.
And for some apparent reason, we forget that. And we only then connect to the people that we really want to be connected to. So now we're not looking like we're serving or we're helping or we're being all connected. Now we look like we're being disconnected or being disgenerous, right? So now I'm trying to change that tune as well. So all the people who got on my last god darn nerve, they did. They know who they are. I'm still gonna work with you, right? I'm never gonna shut the door on you. This seat will be your seat. So that means it says state rep for a reason. That doesn't mean that I'm only for my district only. That means if you're living any and everywhere in this state, you guaranteed to get a call and an answer from us. And Darren will be leading the charge in the Detroit, Redford, Livonia area, but he'll be leading it throughout the state. So Yeah, that's my end game. That's it for me. And also to be on the Black History Month, because that's what I'm next for. Okay. I'm
Right. I love
ready for
that.
my picture to be on the elementary school wall at my elementary school, Blazer, and say Ishmael Terry was born on this day, died on this date, and these are the things he did. And
Part
write a
of
Black
Black
History Month.
history. I love
That's
it.
that's it. And that's all I want. Outside of being married to this woman for the next decades, till there's time to put me in the ground. Um, about what it is.
Well, Ishmael, as we're winding down this conversation, there's three questions.
Uh-oh. I
First,
think
I
I'm in
need to know what
trouble.
book is currently on your nightstand or that you've recently read or would highly recommend reading. How
Mhm.
can we connect to you? And if
Oh.
anything that you definitely want to make sure that you leave as final remarks.
Okay, book. John Grissom is my dude. That's my Judge List, Time to Kill. Those are my two maintain. And okay, so I am a nerd too, so I'm gonna spill the tea on nerdiness. I do read Star Wars.
Okay.
That's my books. That Star Wars, Empire Strike Back, Return of the Jedi. Yeah, I'm really getting nerdy out now. Um, so those are my books that I like to read, and that I have available for me to read. Um,
Volunteers, how can they connect to you, with you?
okay, so they can contact our office, All for One Detroit. That's ALLFOURONE. Sometimes people get it confused and say FOR. So when they think about to reach out to me and they only do FOR, that's incorrect. So just remember, people, the four is spelled out. That's why you see this when you see us taking pictures. So the four is spelled out, the one is spelled out. And it's allforOneDetroit.org. And you can get all of the information you need and volunteer, donate. Hit the little blue button. Everybody, please hit the blue button so we can continue providing another 25 years of services. So that's how they can get in touch with us. Oh, they can contact our office. I'm sorry, 313-378-8474. That's another way to get a hold of us.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
And is there any final remarks that you would like to leave?
Yeah, I don't know how you got me on the second interview. Sorry, I'm joking. Uh, um,
Wait till you have the third one.
I know, right? Right. Be like sworn in. Hey, we got the interview. We got the interview. We got the first crack at him. Okay. Um, what can I leave your listening audience with? Is a decision that you has to make. And here you go. What decision that you do impacts not just you, but the five people that you come across. If you can't impact five people's lives, then you're not doing your job as a community advocate or a leader.
Mhm.
Even if it's just a gesture of hello, makes everybody's day just a little bit better. So learn that and you'll learn yourself. Touch five people's lives just by saying hello. Call them up, see if they're doing okay. We have a lot of mental health issues going on.
Mhm.
So just call people and ask them, how are you doing out here? You doing okay? I was just calling to check up on you. I didn't need anything. I just wanted to make sure that you okay. That's what I would like to leave.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for your second appearance here, Ishmael. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
I
And so
would,
I look forward to seeing you at the swearing in when that time do come. Because I'm only going to allow 3 media people to come and do an interview.
okay. Thank you. I can't wait.
Yes, ma'am.
I want everybody to know we're saying happy Labor Day here from Get to Know Bob. So on Wednesday, September 4th, that's next week, there will not be a show as we're going to be observing that whole week of Labor Day. So enjoy your Labor Day weekend.
Mhm.
And if you have not already done so, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. You just will be on YouTube, do a search for Deals with Bob, and click the subscribe button. As you know, the more subscribers we have, the further reach we can go with the amazing conversations that we are having with Bob. Again, I just want to thank you, Ishmael, for being a part. And I want to thank those people who watched live and tuned in. And those of you who are watching on the replay, we thank you so much. And we want you to share this with others. Now, as always, I am Dr. Sonia M. Weaver, and I encourage you to spend with purpose because your dollars do matter, and deal with Bob. Have an amazing night. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye-bye.